It's a hockey night in Central Ohio and here at Nationwide Arena. The Ottawa Senators and the Blue Jackets meet for the second time in this young NHL season, and Curtis McElhinney will make his second start. His first was against Ottawa before leaving due to injury. Impressive during the preseason at 2-0 in 3 appearances with a 1.98 goals against, or 1.29, excuse me, goals against average and a .965 save percentage. At the opposite end, Robin Lehner, who stopped 38 of 40 shots as we mentioned, and he gets the start. Our referees tonight, the veteran Paul Dvorsky and Justin St. Pierre, Mark Shuchuk and Don Henderson are the linesmen. Jackets wearing their alternate third jerseys, the Senators in their traveling whites. And a sad note to start things off tonight. According to Nick Kostanica, our thoughts and prayers as we begin this hockey game are with Gordie Howe, who is resting in bed after a serious stroke, according to the Detroit News. Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe, and we certainly wish him and the Howe family the best. Puck in the zone. Ryan Johansson trying to outmuscle, and does, away from Turris. Long shot by Savard, deflected wide. Right wing and out to neutral ice. It'll be picked up there by Ryan Johansson, and left for Cam Atkinson. Happy to see him back in the lineup after a scare in Anaheim. Atkinson hangs on, turns away, deals it along the boards, gets it by Chris Phillips. Jackets cycle out of the corner. A quick attempt there, and Lehner makes the stop off the stick of Scott Hartnell. There's a look at Todd Richards and Jody Shelley. How about the keys to tonight's game presented by Toyota?
Well, there they are, engaged early now. Like the first shift by the Blue Jackets, get out, get involved. Keep it short shifts. You're just coming off a long road trip. Get out there, get off, let the next guys get out and communicate. Lots of line changes, playing with different key partners. Communicate with your new line mate, teammate. Be ready for each other. How difficult is that when you have to juggle the lineup due to the injuries and the growing list at that, Jody? Well, it is a little bit of a challenge. It's a challenge because you love it when you get into rhythm with lines, and we've seen it with some lines already. Chemistry in a couple games and then a couple guys missing, so they got to get used to and talk to each other. Legline from the left wing board sends it off the side of the net. A buzz in the building here tonight as the Jackets return home after that 4-game road trip. Overskating the puck there is Letesta, who's got 3 goals in his last 3 games. Legwand drops it back to his own blue line. Gryba paired with Borowiecki. And Borowiecki hustles off as Gryba waits as the Senators change things up on the fly, approaching the 92nd mark. Thrown up the middle. Waiting is McCulloch on the left wing. It's shoveled in deep by Chiasson. Hammered there by Dalton Prout. Jackets, Jack Johnson ahead for Marco Dano. Todd Richards, Jody said this morning, he could be the benefactor of the fact that the Jackets have a number of players out. He'll see 5-on-5 play as well as some power play time. Well, Todd Richards mentioned this morning at the media scrum that when there's injuries, there's opportunity for other guys. And like you said, an opportunity for him. And he likes Corey Trop and Cracknell come in and do some good things. So these guys are on it. Trop certainly provided some energy in the early going against the Los Angeles Kings. And Todd Richards talked, and rightfully so, about the Jackets' performance in Los Angeles. They certainly deserved a better fate. Outstanding stops made in that hockey game, as you recall, by Jonathan Quick, particularly in the second period. As you got to look there at Todd Richards. Yeah, and then there's Paul McLean, coach of the Ottawa Senators, and he had mentioned that the second period for the Ottawa Senators has been a tough point for them. So they're looking to right their ship. There's always something to work on for every team, and coaches always pick things out, and he's down to the second period, Jeff. Icing the call, they'll head back. And as we get a look again at Todd Richards, he said, you know, we did some nice things in Los Angeles. We were really no good in Anaheim. And here you have a situation where the Jackets come back home, a number of changes, and Todd Richards' message to the players. Your guys are getting opportunities, make the best of it. And I love that from Todd Richards. What are you going to do? Tell these guys to be excited, get out there and make the best of what you got, and they are. And the good thing about the Jackets is they play as a team. So when they have a team game, an identity that everyone knows to play, when a guy gets an opportunity in the lineup, he knows what to do. Jackets are all around Robin Lehner as they come right back here with the Johansson line. And they've had 2 shifts and have played primarily in
Ottawa territory. Savard rifles it, and it's deflected out of play, enabling us to check out the latest on the Elkin Elk injury report. No less than 6 Jackets are out.
And a former Jacket in Ottawa. You see that Mark Method still has something lingering there. But Bobrovsky's the latest go on there. Matty Calvert, we missed him last game and this game. Brandon Dubinsky's getting better. Horton, we hopefully is getting better. Boone Jenner is getting better. And you just saw a picture of Ryan Murray there, who I spoke with this morning after his first game back against the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Los Angeles Kings. I said, how did you feel? He said very calmly, he said, I felt pretty good. I said, how were your legs? He said, they weren't too bad. I said, well, how about like the speed? He said, it wasn't bad at all. How about that?
That's great. And he's got the great attitude. And, of course, Todd Richards singling him out this morning saying, hey, here we go. We got a fight going. We'll continue that fight in a moment. Jared Bull and Borowiecki. And Borowiecki tried to get that right hand free.
Borowiecki. He was coached by Luke Richardson down in Binghamton of the American Hockey League, and I spoke with Luke this morning, and I asked him about a couple guys. I asked him about Borowiecki, and he said he's tough as nails. He was Luke's captain down there for a year and a half. He'll hit, he'll block shots, and you see Jared Bull goes in here and takes a run at one of his players. Borowiecki says, hey, I got to do this.
3:22 the time of the penalties, and will there be any additional? League thus far, and it's going to happen again here today, that if someone like a Borowiecki, as he did right there, initiates, there would be an instigating penalty. And the Jackets, as a result, are going to end up with a power play. That's unofficial. We're hearing that from downstairs here now. So 7 minutes to Borowiecki, 2 for instigating, and 5 for fighting. So the Jackets, who are 17th in power play efficiency, 6 for 32, 18.8%. They've scored power play goals in 6 of their 8 games. Will get the first manpower advantage. Ottawa tied for 20th on the penalty kill, killed off 22 of 28.
And I love this start by the Blue Jackets. As you mentioned, that top line attacking early. And here we have a good play, good contact by Jared Bull, drawing a penalty here. Excellent start at home for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Puck played by the Senators up the near wall and all the way down into Jackets territory. Here is James Wisniewski. Wisniewski, quarterback of that power play last year, trying to feed it at the line, broken up by McCulloch. And Chiasson drops it back. When he was with Dallas, he was Chiasson. Now Chiasson is his preferred name.
I'm glad you're keeping up with that, because I would have went with Chiasson.
Puck dumped in and will be played. Phillips or Chiasson. James Wisniewski up along the boards, trying to battle up against the Senators. Loose puck. Jack Johnson fires. Leonard the stop.
Scott Hartnell tried to get there before the shot came, but just not in time. Leonard saw that the whole way.
Jackets with 3 of the first 4 shots in the hockey game. Approaching the 5-minute mark. Power play down to 46 seconds. Left wing feed. Centered off the stick of Letestu. Lindbergh gets it back to the point. One-timer by Savard. Looking for it is Leonard, and it's waved off. Definitely, we heard the whistle, and the puck trickled over the line. And the crowd here saw that puck cross the line, but the whistle definitely went prior to the puck crossing the line.
And that was a nice play. Wenberg passed it up high, and then it was a pass back and forth with Savard and Tooten. Good quick shot, but no one in front of the goalie. You got to get in front of Leonard. Almost like a bad goalie situation in front of him, just to take away his eyes.
Moved out of the zone there by Lazar, and the Jackets are regrouped in their own zone. 24 seconds remain on the power play. Here's Mark Letestu. Left wing feed at the line. Broken up. And it's Cowan who sends it back into Jackets territory. Waning seconds of the Columbus power play, their first of the night. Here comes Wenberg with speed. Stepping up, Savard shoots and scores! Power play goal! 4 seconds left in the penalty, and the Jackets are on the board. David Savard, how do you do?
Todd Richards will show this one in the room again to the guys, because this is how you attack with speed. Kicks it wide to Anisimov, who then passes it across the whole zone. And David Savard beats Leonard with a fastball. Look how far Leonard gets out. He's way above the blue paint. David, you think he's happy to score that goal?
Second of the season for Savard. And the Jackets get a 1-0 lead here. After peppering 5 shots, they find the back of the net on the 5th. And seconds after, Leonard saw that puck squirt between the wickets, but was after the whistle.
It's going to be a call here on the Blue Jackets, Jeff. It's just a subtle little hook by Ryan Murray, and he knows it. Small little play, but 2 minutes for hook. Called from the corner, and we'll take a look at it here. He got his hands across the body there. And so the Jackets go right to the kill after scoring a goal in the power play.
Senators on the power play for the first time tonight. They are tied for 19th, 5 for 29. Chiasson has scored 2 power play goals. They've given up a shorthanded goal. Jackets tied for 12th on the penalty kill. They killed off 20 of 24. Jody, that's after killing off their first 12. But since 12 more power play opportunities, and they've given up 4 power play goals in the last 12.
Against pretty good power plays, though, don't you think?
Absolutely.
I mean, what we saw in Anaheim and L.A. and San Jose.
And San Jose. That's where it all got started. Jackets gave up their first power play goal against the Sharks. Walking the line. Shot and a goal. Deflected in front. The Carlson shot redirected. It's a power play goal.
Looked to be directed by Clark MacArthur. Out high. And that's an example of how dangerous Carlson is. You have to respect his shot and his heads up and his playing ability. And they get it to the middle of the ice. You can see in the traffic in front of McElhaney. And that was Turris. No, it was MacArthur out high in the hash mark area. And that's a hard play for the goalie. He's got to fight traffic, then find the puck, which tipped in front. Turris is right in front of the net. Quick answer by the Ottawa Senators on their power play here.
The goal comes a minute 3 seconds on their power play after the Jackets goal by David Savard. So 1-1 in the early moments of this one. Jackets carry in. Corey Trapp onto Anisimov. Lets one fly, and it's deflected off the stick of Phillips and wide. Off the point, Jack Johnson. Gryba tying up the Jackets player. Anisimov tried to walk in front. Puck picked up in the corner. Cycling out here is Marco Dano. Now Anisimov. Artem Anisimov. Shot by Jack Johnson. Deflected wide. Off Chiasson. He'll play it ahead. Zibanejad racing for it there at McCulloch. And it's handed here to Dalton Prut with a quick feed. Trying to catch the Senators on the line change. Dano is hit there by the Ottawa forward.
And that was a good play by Dano, Jeff. He stayed out there to complete the change, made sure he was available for Dalton Prout, took the hit, got it in, then got off the ice.
MacArthur credited with the goal, assist to Carlson. Up along the wall. Jackets pressure. Shot by Savard. Juggled, and Leonard will hold on. We will step aside. 12:22 left here. Blue Jackets covering on Fox Sports Ohio and the Savard power play goal. Entertaining start to this one, tied at 1. Power play goals by Savard and MacArthur. Let's get one more look at them.
Well, there they are, and there was didn't score too far apart, did they? And this was a nice power play by Anisimov, board to board, really. And that went straight in. Savard just beat him with a heater. And you see Carlson here just throws it through traffic. But this guy, Clark MacArthur, had a nice little hand-eye coordination tip out in front to beat Curtis McElhaney.
Goals were scored a minute 3 apart. Smith carries in. Smith, Neal, and Leglois, the forward unit employed by Paul McLean. Dumped off into the corner. Neal dumps behind. Jack Johnson with a backhand pass. Chipped off the wall. Overskating the puck now And tossed back here to Jack Johnson. Johansson riding an 8-game point scoring streak to start the season. Takes a hit there from Neal, and he will certainly draw the attention of the Senators here tonight. Atkinson to the net. Leonard is there, gets the glove on it, and no further play. Well, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one tonight, look forward to Miller time. We will. Later in tonight's game, we'll have a highlight for you. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Well, you talk of drawing the attention of the Senators. Well, that guy Chris Neal, he'll draw the attention of Jared Bull, who's already in the box for fighting. And I talked with Bull today, and I said, you know, you lose Sergei Bobrovsky, you know, what do you do to change up? He said, hey, nothing. This is the same team. Mac is a great goalie. We play as a team no matter what. We'll be fine. That's a good leadership. I thought that was really a good comment by Jared Bull. Good attitude.
Well, Bull's become a leader. Of course, he leads the team in seniority being on this hockey club. He sets an example every time he steps on the ice.
I like the attitude that they've come out with here at home after a long Western trip. It's been a good start to this hockey game by the Blue Jackets.
Do you prescribe to the theory that it's tough to play the first game home after a long road trip?
It depends on how you start the game. If it's a bad start, yeah, I'm buying.
In front, penalty upcoming. As Skilly was hauled down, the Jackets will go back to the power play here.
No, but Jeff, to follow that up, I do think it's a tough thing to come from the West Coast and have one day and then play a game, and well, that's just part of the league.
Experience. You come home, family and all.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Ottawa 16 minutes for Crusher.
Two for cross-checking. Jack Skilly with a good play here. That's a good turn-up, change direction, and he's got that speed, even out of a hole like that, where he's got to stop and go the other way, and that just draws a penalty. Mark MacArthur followed it up with a little cross-check on the ice, too.
Jackets 1 for 1. They had 3 shots on the previous power play. They win the draw, and it's Wisniewski walking the line. Jack Johnson lets one fly, and it's off the mark. And off the netting, so play whistle down. The faceoff will come back into Ottawa territory.
Good hard shot by Jack Johnson. You know, you'd like to see him hit the net there, but early in the power play, why not take a shot at something you see on the far side, maybe some netting there, and he just missed his spot. But no harm, no foul. Face off in the same spot to the right of Leonard.
Jackets scored their initial power play goal here with just seconds remaining. So I prescribe to that theory, yeah. You got time, right? You got time. Time's on your side. Here, in front, redirected, and the stop there by Leonard.
Great play by James Wisniewski. Everyone knows he's got a hard shot, but I love this about him. Head up. This is a set play to Cam Atkinson, who's standing there in the slot with his stick on the ice. And you see deflections right in front of the goaltender a lot, but look at this. Pass to Wisniewski. See the stick there of Atkinson? He's out by the hash marks. And it's a shot pass. Head up, pass. Leonard had to follow that puck the whole way.
Wisniewski remaining on the point here with Jack Johnson. Observes. Steps away from Chiasson. 10.5 minutes left here in this opening period. Drop pass there for Atkinson from Hartnell. Spins, turns. Chiasson up high along with McCulloch. On that half wall, Hartnell, Atkinson, Johansson waiting in the slot. Jackets get it to the point. Johansson, stick on the ice. He wants that puck. Hartnell. On for Jack Johnson. Jackets showing patience here. Wisniewski. Crowd trying to encourage him to fire the puck. They do. It's off the backboard. Picked up there by Hartnell. Swung around there for Wisniewski. Able to save it at the line. Wisniewski. Right-handed shot. On to Johnson. Quick attempt. Ricochets off a couple of sticks. No look pass there for Hartnell. Hartnell throws it up high. A quick shot, and that goes off the shoulder of Leonard from the stick of Ryan Johansson. Less than 30 left of the power play. Wisniewski. Jack Johnson. Back for Wisniewski. Here's where the Jackets scored. Late the power play in front. Hartnell was there, could not redirect it. And the Senators are able to send it down.
Awesome effort by that unit out there. Retrieved 4 pucks. You mentioned patience. Great job. Making sure they had a lane because that gives them the advantage to be able to find that puck again and set up.
Wennberg. Skilly tried to feed it ahead. Behind the net. Skilly takes that pass from Letestu. Now away from Cowan. Hands to Letestu. Swept to Savard to the point. On defender Tootin. Traffic in front. Tootin will that one fly, and that's deflected off the mark. 8:45 left in the period. Jackets with 12 shots to 3 for the Senators.
And that last one by Tootin did not miss by much.
Jackets had 3 shots in the just completed power play. 6 of their 12 have come with the extra man advantage.
How about that effort from Wennberg in the neutral zone to cause a turnover on Bobby Ryan? And here come the Jackets.
Right wing with speed, and Anisimov in front, and Corey Trotz couldn't get to it. Dalton Prout hammers it off the wall. A centering feed. Here's Marco Dano. Prout wide of the net. There's Trotz. Corey Trotz settles a puck down, throws it up high, looking for Dalton Prout, and a race for the puck. McElhaney alertly comes out, sends it back out of the zone. Jackets will pick it up, and Dalton Prout, stepping away from traffic, retreats behind McElhaney. If you've joined us late, Sergei Bobrovsky placed on IR this morning, out for a week or 2 after breaking a finger in practice yesterday. 7:45 left. Glad you've joined us here for Blue Jackets coverage on Fox Sports Ohio.
Welcome back to Nationwide, where the Jackets and Sens are all tied at a goal apiece. Dave Betzold along with Jeff Rimmer and Jody Shelley. Hey, check out Fox Sports Live tonight on Fox Sports 1. They'll have a full post-game recap from Game 6 of the World Series in Kansas City. Analysis of the first ever college football playoff rankings, which come out tonight. An exclusive interview also with Chris Bosh on the NBA's opening night. That's Fox Sports Live tonight on Fox Sports 1.
Face-off will come to the right of McElhaney. And the puck played by the Jackets forward. There's Phillips pressured there by Cracknell. He had a solid game, I thought, in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he did. Big body, forechecked well, good positionally. And he finds himself tonight on a line with Bull on his right and Chaput on his left, who's done a good job at center. But I like that line. Good speed. Chaput has done a great job himself.
Boy, has he ever. Earning a spot in training camp with this play. And again, as we've mentioned previously, spent much of the summer here in Columbus, getting in shape. Oh boy, Wisniewski dangerously stepping in front of his own net. But to finish the thought there on Chaput. Spent a lot of time in Columbus this summer. He knew he had a chance to earn a spot on the roster, and he's made the best of it, hasn't he?
He sure has. Chris Neal's challenging Jared Bull, and here we go.
Second fight for Bull in this period.
Well, Chris Neal took a run at Ryan Johansson earlier, and they had words here when they got it lined up against each other. Chris Neal, he's been in the league a long, long time.
And one of the toughest customers, but Bull landing right hands.
And they fought before. Jared Bull's seen him before also.
Jody, you actually called this one earlier tonight with Bull still in the penalty box from the first fight, and there's a bit of a face wash.
I'm not sure what that was, but the fans saw it on the big screen, and they don't like that. Looks like he dug in Jared Bull's eye. He's kind of holding his eye there. Boy, a scratched eye is a bad thing. But Chris Neal's had 2,221 penalty minutes come in tonight as he hears it from the crowd for that scratch. 2 fights for Jared as sits down and takes care of his eye. You can see here, Chris Neal has the puck. Bull protects it on the wall. And that's when Jared said something to him like, hey, where are you going, bud? I'm right here. And that's for that run right in front of the bench of Ryan Johansson. Can't do that. Good on Jared Bull. Chris Neal's a gamer, though, boy.
Unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, we're being told prior to the official announcement, handed to Neal for that little bit of a face wash. And look at this. Here you see it again.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just...
The crowd called in. They just showed it simultaneously on the big board here.
Well, and I've never really seen that before. That one looks like he was going for the helmet and then got the forehead. And you see Jared say it happens, it happens. You read his lips there. 2 Two stand-up guys there, two warriors, Chris Neil and Jared Bull.
Jackets on their third power play. They're 1 for 2 with 6 shots. 3 shots on each of the previous 2 manpower advantages. Puck knocked away, shorthanded. Carried in there by Stone. Jackets trying to dig it free. The Senators accompanied on this brief road trip from Chicago and here to Columbus by the fathers. It's their annual fathers trip. So some juggling of their lineup here for this hockey game. Puck played far side. Ceci unable to get it out. Lechestu flips a backhand. Anisimov to the point. Savard steps up almost from the identical spot he scored on earlier. Here, Ryan Murray on to Savard. Murray seeing power play time. Murray, a smart player. Boy, did he play well in his season debut. Set up high. Look as Murray gets back quickly.
I love that play by Savard. He held up. No one was in front of the net. He didn't take the shot. He waited for the guys to come in, set the power play up.
First shot in front, tossed across that goal mouth. Alert play there by Lechestu, who tried to set up Wenberg, but he couldn't get to that puck.
These guys are on. These guys are sharp.
Wisniewski hits Atkinson in full stride. Knocked away was the hockey puck. So Atkinson will try again. First across the line. Atkinson flips ahead for Hartnell. Johansson cruising. Wisniewski, Jack Johnson drills it off the glove of Leonard. Puck played along the near boards and hammered out by Lazar. Back into Columbus territory. 15 seconds left in the additional minor, being served by Bobby Ryan.
Another good rush by the Blue Jackets power play. Get it on Leonard. They just couldn't get to that rebound and have another opportunity. But this is a unit that had 4 puck retrievals in that last time they were out there.
Race for the puck. Turris as Bobby Ryan steps out. Jackets 2 shots, so they just completed power play. A total of 8 on their 3 manpower advantages. Long lead pass knocked down by Carlson, alertly so. Toss back here to Callum.
Ryan Johansson tried to flip it up to Scott Hartnell over Carlson, but Carlson played that like a pop fly, waited for it, didn't take that first step in.
MacArthur drops it back. Bobby Ryan is shot, and it sails wide of the net. David Savard off that backboard. Gets it ahead. In full flight across the line. This is Chaput. Chaput using that speed. Throws it in front. Jackets unable to redirect it. Back goes Turris with a quick feed to MacArthur. MacArthur will dump it wide of McElhaney, who will play it nonetheless and leave it behind the net there for Fedor-Tutin. 16 minutes gone here in the first period. Fast pace. Jackets 14-3 a shot advantage. But we're tied at 1 on a pair of power play goals. First Savard for the Jackets. A minute 3 later, it was MacArthur. Zibanejad dumps in. Puck played by McElhaney. Turned over. Jackets get it back.
Yeah, it looked like McElhaney didn't get all of his blade on that. Kind of whiffed on it. But his defensemen were there to help him out.
Backhand pass. Picked up by Wenberg. Jack Johnson stepping away from Stone. Headman's that puck to Trop. Trop unable to cradle it. Carried in. Lazar with a shot. High and wide of the net. Senators retrieve. Looking for Lazar in front. And a point-blank stop there by McElhaney.
Good job by McElhaney there.
Point-blank range. That'll give him some confidence.
Yeah, that was nice.
A quick feed in front. And turned aside. Greiba with a shot. Ricochets off a leg. Kept in by Greiba. The right-handed shooting defenseman deals to the corner. Jackets throw it in front. Adam Cracknell. Here's Trop. Puck played by Carlson. Backpedals as the Senators change up on the fly. Trying to buy some time. Carlson, the 9th captain in Senators history. Chris Phillips, rink wide. Smith crossing the line on the right wing. Defending is Ryan Murray in the poke check. Forcing Smith all the way around. Gets it to Phillips. On for Carlson. Off a skate and out of the zone. The veteran Phillips steps to center. Hammers back in. He was riding the bike 40 minutes before game time here tonight.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Was he a captain too of the Ottawa Senators? I'm not sure on that.
I think he's always been an alternate.
Yeah. Been there a long time.
Could have probably made more money going free agent and going somewhere else, but wanted to remain a Senator. And of course, re-signing and a fixture on the blue line with Carlson. Well, big night for Jared Bull. Nice to see him laughing. His second battle of the opening period here with Chris Neal.
Tied at 1 here at Nationwide Arena. Craig Hartsburg, the Jackets out shooting Ottawa by 10. Not always is that an indicator of you dictating play, but for the most part, you have been doing that in this period.
Oh, we've had good zone time. I think we need more traffic, though. I think he's seeing way too many shots, especially from the points, but it's a good start for us.
Talk about the team's ability to defend Nationwide Arena tonight. You're seeing a lot of physical play and a lot of guys winning puck back.
Well, this is our building. We have to come out strong and sustain it for 60 minutes, but it's a building that we got to make people not want to come to.
In neutral zone play, Ryan Johansson will drop it back. Fedor-Tutin. David Savard. Atkinson chips in. Puck played here by Phillips. Cam Atkinson stepping up. That's MacArthur at center now. Carlson on to Turris. The shot blocked by Savard, but takes a wicked bounce off that backboard. Phillips to play it. The alternate captain for the Senators, for MacArthur. Looks to walk out. Clark MacArthur, the point. Carlson's shot is blocked. Kyle Turris on that half wall. Back for Carlson. Little more than a minute remaining. Turris now. Carlson drills it. And that was blocked up high by Scott Hartnell. Reaching, Johansson has lost his stick. And a hooking penalty upcoming here, as the stick got caught up in the paraphernalia of Kyle Turris.
Yeah, and it seems to be
Columbus 15 minor for hook.
just one of those plays. I mean, he was trying to make the play to get the puck, and like you said, get caught in the jersey. Wow, there you saw it. We missed it. Or I missed it. David Savard reached out with his stick and tripped the player. And, I mean, that was a pretty easy call for the ref. Jackets have a big kill here with a minute set. They got to get at least a period. 1:03 left in this period. Get it done and get to the room.
18:53 the time. On the Savard penalty, thrown in front, redirected, knocked out of the air. And play allowed to continue as the referee waved it off, saying it was below the shoulder. So now Ceci will step in front of his own net and lead the rush up ice. McCulloch wants that puck, standing at center. Toss to the right wing. Stone overskates it. Ceci back for Zibanejad. Chiasson circles in his own zone. Zibanejad from center. Drills it. It gets by McElhinney. Up along the wall. Played by Dalton Prout. Thrown in front. And the Jackets send it off the wall and out. Adam Cracknell alertly playing that loose puck high in the slot and clearing it the length of the ice.
Well, that was a puck that was spinning, and it went down to Dalton Prout and tried to gather it in. It just went out in front. And Cracknell was there in good support of that play.
Bouncing puck played there by Chaput, and the horn goes to end a spirited opening period of play. 30 minutes of penalties handed out in the opening period. 53 seconds remain in the Savard penalty. Teams trade power play goals early. Jackets outshoot Ottawa 14-5 after 20 minutes here at Nationwide Arena. After one, we're tied at 1. Here inside Nationwide Arena, getting set for second period play, and head coach Todd Richards joining Jody and I downstairs. Todd, we talked a lot of good things going on in that first period. Speed, the Jackets' power play, and patience. Your thoughts of the first 20 minutes?
I agree with you. We did some good things 5-on-5. We scored a power play goal, but we did a good job executing, bringing the puck up the ice on the power play, but I don't think we played quick enough in the offensive zone. Slowed it down too many times, and we got to think about shooting the puck. Shoot to break down their coverage, and then that'll open up those seams in those lanes.
And Todd, how do you bring that momentum you created in the first period into the rest of the game?
Well, it starts right now with the penalty kill. Got to finish this off and then get back to 5-on-5, doing what we've been doing. I think our forwards have done a very good job getting in on the forecheck and pressuring their defense and creating some turnovers, and that's allowed us to play down low in their zone.
Thanks for this, Todd.
All right, thanks, guys.
Set for second period play. The puck is dropped, and we are underway. And Coach will make his way down the ramp and join his coaching staff and his team here as the second period begins with a power play and an offside. And that lets Todd get back on the bench. That's good to see.
Maybe we shouldn't ask him that second question.
No, I thought it was a good question.
He looks like he's mad at you, Jeff.
No, you asked the second question.
Oh, that's right. So I got set up for this. I'm going to hear it.
From the draw.
We'll blame the producer.
I thought you had a question you were going to ask, but I didn't hear it. I'm saving it for another night.
Yes. I got a bunch. There's a shiner. Look at the linesmen there. We've seen these guys get hit. All the games, really, we've seen linesmen get hit with pucks. Sticks. Well, he's got a shiner. We'll have to figure out what happened to him. Looks like a right, maybe a left.
I was just going to say, do you think it was a fight? Well, this game becomes more and more dangerous as time goes on. Witness what we saw Sunday. Nick Foligno colliding with Shane Heyer, the linesman.
And that was a scary situation, wasn't it, Jeff? And it's so good to hear that Nick has got that neck brace off and just dealing with soreness now and anxious to get back with his team on the ice.
Out day to day. Hopefully he returns. As we got to look at the IGS Energy performers. David Savard, Clark MacArthur, and Jared Bull involved in a couple of fights. MacArthur and Savard, the power play goals for their respective teams. Just to finish our thought here.
I just want to comment. I'm glad to see Jared Bull up there. The goal scorers, they did a heck of a job. David Savard with that fastball. MacArthur did a good job responding. But how about Jared Bull stepping up there? Ryan Johansson got run at by Chris Neal, and there's Jared Bull to say, hey, you don't do that to our guy.
Zibanejad, far side. Played. Into the slot there for Chiasson. He'll deal it to the point. 1 second left. Power play over. Savard steps out. Jackets have killed it. Here's a shot by Phillips. And it sails wide of the net. Stepping up is Carlson. That enables the Jackets to send it down the ice. But it's icing. And just to finish the thought now on Foligno. And a nice visit with Nick this morning as he entered the arena. Yes, he said yesterday he'd love to have played tonight against his former team, the Senators. But still a little stiffness, a little soreness in the neck. Fortunately, all the x-rays, including an MRI yesterday, negative, and he hopes to be able to return to the lineup if that soreness goes away as early as Friday night against Toronto.
Well, that's great news.
Saved by McElhaney. Up high, Greiba. Moved off the wall by Stone. Lazar with a shot that's blocked. Condra trying to create traffic in front. And this is the quickness that Coach Richards talked to us about just a few minutes ago. He wants them to get in that zone and play that fast game that he's looking for.
Yeah, and he's wanted to do it all trip out west. But I thought they did a good job the first period. We talked about it, and you know, he's got to be happy with his team. You kind of sensed that from him, didn't you, when we spoke with him?
Absolutely.
I mean, because you probably come in today wondering what's going to happen with your troops. Long trip, Bobrovsky out, Foligno out, new injuries, Atkinson back, rotating lineup, really. And here I think the guys have responded well. They have to keep that going, though, Jeff, here at Nationwide Arena.
Face off to McElhaney's right. Circling the net, Ryan Murray. Up on the wing. Jackets unable to get it out. And there is a tip by Smith on the shot from Ceci at the point. And it's 2-1 Ottawa. And that's all the Senators appear to be doing here. That's their MO, is get shots from the point and have them redirected in front.
You're right, Jeff. And it seems like the first little bit, Jackets came out and rocked them. But this is just a quick turnover. Murray tries to hit Wenberg there, and he just couldn't handle it. Couldn't clear it at the line. And that's a heck of a play by Smith to tip that behind McElhaney. You see it go to the net with his stick on the ice, and it's a shot. It's a fake shot and pass to Smith. So McElhaney has to challenge the shot, play it like it's coming as a straight shot at him, but the defenseman faked that and shot it right off Smith, who was to the right and behind McElhaney.
Senators have their first lead. Zach Smith's second of the season. 2 minutes gone here in period number 2. Ceci, whose shot from the point was redirected, as we mentioned, gets the lone assist.
Columbus Blue Jackets hockey brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, the official insurance provider of your Columbus Blue Jackets.
There's a look at Jack Skilling. He's moved. He's played with a lot of different guys in this past 2 weeks. Boy, and he's shown some good speed like we knew. But I love his patience with the puck, Jeff. He's made some good plays, especially the last couple games. Head-up plays, keep holding on to the puck, because I think the MO is out on him, that he's got that shot down the wing.
Over 7 minutes now for the Blue Jackets without a shot on goal.
Well, they're getting a little pushback from the Senators. The Senators have had a power play, too, but you're right. They have to get down and get back to that tempo they started with.
2.5 gone here in period number 2. David Savard, the goal scorer for the Jackets on the power play, opened the scoring at 5:19. If you missed it, Anisimov and Wenberg drawing the assists.
You see David had that swollen lip. He had a stick in the face in Los Angeles. Went out for a bit, got stitches, and came back, and he's just got a little bit of a fat lip now.
Anisimov set for the draw here with Turris. Puck kicked back. Picked up there by Bobby Ryan. MacArthur behind the net. Driven to the ice. Fights off the Jack Johnson hit, but the Blue Jackets come up with a puck, and Anisimov sends a backhand ahead for Marco Gano. Losing an edge there, but back on his feet is Greiben. Senators move up ice. Bobby Ryan with a quick shot. Stick to side. McElhinney.
Good job by McElhinney to control that rebound, put it in the corner.
Greiben. Left side. Borowiecki rifles it wide of the net. Jack Johnson turns it over. There's Bobby Ryan tossing it back into the corner. Dalton Prout for Jack Johnson.
Nice
wing
play.
pass.
Nice play by Dalton Prout there. Sorry, Jeff, to Jack Johnson. Just a quick little backhand pass. Didn't handle the puck. Just felt pressure coming, passed it to Jack, and that's a good play by defensive player Dalton Prout.
Ceci ahead for David Legwand. Across the line, dishes it on that left wing. Redirected, glove, flashing the leather. McElhinney, he'll hold on.
And there's Curtis, and we talked about him earlier. He waited for his opportunity, Jeff. In training camp, he waited patiently. He finally got his opportunity in Ottawa, and then he got injured. Now he's the man. There he is. He gets that hand up and retrieves that little, we'll call that a blooper.
Worked hard in training camp, as you point out. He played in 3 preseason games, went 2-0 with a 1.29 goals against average and a .965 save percentage. He's been working with Ian Clark, trying to refine his game. And gets an opportunity here for at least the next week to backstop the Jackets here as they play without Bobrovsky.
And I spoke with Jamie McClellan, former goalie coach in Calgary, and Coach Curtis when he was there, and he was raving about his game and how he embraces that backup role. And just a pro, all the things we know, but it's great to hear that reinforced by one of his former coaches.
Of course, Jamie McLennan now working hockey broadcasts.
That's right.
For the Senators here, and people see him in the U.S. on NHL Network from time to time, as you got to look at Robin Leonard, who was outstanding in the first meeting between these two teams a week ago last Saturday. He's already faced 14 shots, turned aside 13, of course. The Jackets still looking for that first shot here in period 2. And Tootin sends it towards the net, but deflected wide. Senators played as it hopped over Ryan Johansson's stick. Stone. Up on that left wing, Condra. Condra had it roll away, spins and turns to Stone, but the puck rifled wide of the net. Phillips for the left wing boards, redirected but wide. Carlson now sends it in front. Jackets come away, Hartnell the right wing. Ahead here, Atkinson taking the Johansson pass. Carlson gets an arm on him, and back come the Senators with Phillips leading the rush. Through and across the line, Chris Phillips sends it in. Turned aside off the pad, comes right back in front, but neatly, the Jackets are able to steer it away.
That wasn't a hard shot by Phillips. He was trying to make it a pass off the pads and bounce out front, but it got Curtis's left pad and went to the corner.
3 Senators converge on Johansson, and then a cross-check to throw him to the ice, and the crowd here looking for a penalty to be called.
That's at Borowiecki again. He watched that puck for a bit, and then he said, forget this, I'm just going to play the body.
Long lead pass for Kyle Turris. Waits for reinforcements. Pressure there by Dalton Prout. Rolling puck picked up there by Anisimov in the left wing. Looks to the right side for Dano. He'll play it off the wall. Borowiecki is there defending. Dano gets away, trying to walk to the net. Turns, looks up high. Walking the line. Prout, quick feed for Jack Johnson. He can't handle it. Cross ice Prout. Rifles in. Leonard unable to trap it. Sails all the way down to the right wing boards from center. Battle ensues along the wall. And the Senators dump it deep. The official says it was tipped. No icing call here as we approach the 6-minute mark. Period number 2. Eichel wide of the net, takes a wicked bounce off the stanchion. Cowan can't clear. Jackets come up with it. Thrown up high here. Ryan Murray tries to get a shot through, but it's blocked by McCulloch. Zibanejad. Cowan. Jackets keep it in. Off a leg. And the puck moved quickly up the left wing boards, and Wenberg pressured there by Ceci. Swept ahead for McCulloch. Left wing for Chiasson. Jackets knock it away. On the rush, Letestu. Skilly looking in front. A shot, and Wenberg sends it wide. Delayed penalty upcoming. As play is whistled down, a collision between Skilly and Leonard. 13:31 left here in the second period. The Jackets will go to the power play when we come back.
And the Jackets going to the power play here, and Cowan got the stick up on Mark Letestu. Now this guy does a lot of things right. He's driving the middle of the lane here, trying to create some space, and you see the stick catches him right in the face. He's trying to split the defenseman, and you see Cowan's just trying to bring his stick across his body to play it to the left side as Jack Skilly's got the puck. Mark didn't get cut, but draws a nice penalty. 2-minute power play for the Jackets.
Blue Jackets on the power play for the 4th time. They are 1 for 3 with 8 shots. Jack Johnson chops it back. Atkinson, Johnson, Savard, Johnson in front and high and wide.
We saw that similar play in the last power play early. Jack Johnson looking for that far side. Missed it wide, and the Jackets have to retreat. I don't mind Jack Johnson shooting the puck like that, though.
Joining the rush. First across the line. Atkinson. Johnson tosses it behind. Hartnell from the corner. Rims it around the wall. Johnson had pinched in, and it sails all the way back into Columbus territory. We'll get fresh legs on the power play. Dano, as Coach Richards promised, would get some power play time. Oh boy, Letestu was rocked by Borowiecki at open ice, but he's fortunately right back up. Short-handed. Lazar, pressure. Savard reaching for it. Played by Tootin. Jackets, less than a minute to go on the power play. On to Anisimov, left wing, Marco Dano. Here's Savard, who scored the power play goal. One-timer there by Tootin. Big rebound off the pad of Leonard. The Jackets unable to get to it, and it's Legwand tossing to the corner. Long stretch pass there. Sails right in on McElhinney. Approaching the 8-minute mark, 34 seconds remaining in the Cowan penalty. Rink wide here for Anisimov. Johansson on his left. Puck handed to Johansson, and Anisimov is dropped, and he is down. And the Jackets take exception and go right after Greiba on that hit.
That was a big hit that popped off Anisimov's helmet. And he went down immediately and stayed down as Mike Vogt comes to the aid of him.
And the official there pulling the Jackets' Scott Hartnell off the Senators' player while Anisimov is attended to. The Jackets could ill afford yet another injury.
Well, Anisimov just came in there and made a little drop pass. Fans are booing because Hartnell's getting a penalty for going in there and grabbing Greiba. Greiba's getting escorted out of down the tunnel.
Yeah.
And there's a look at it. Anisimov drops the puck. And then Greiba steps into him. And here you watch. Anisimov watches that puck go behind him. And Greiba just steps in. And it looks like contact that knocked the helmet off of Anisimov. And then you'll see Hartnell come in here and grab Greiba. Exactly what he should do. Well, there's Anisimov going off under his own weight.
Initial word from the penalty box now being explained by the officials is that Greiba is getting a 5-minute penalty for targeting the head, and Hartnell 2 minutes for roughing. And you're getting a look at the expression right there now from Paul McLean, which pretty well tells the story. Jackets will have, for 26 seconds, a 2-man advantage and a 5-minute major. Actually, they will not have that 26-man or 26-second manpower advantage because of the fact that Hartnell draws the minor.
That's right.
So
it'll be 5-on-4.
Yeah, it'll be 5-on-4 as is the norm, and then the Jackets power play will begin for the final 3 minutes of the drive of 5-minute major.
That's right.
And you saw Mike Vogt just talking there to Todd Richards, giving him an indication as to his initial thought on Anisimov, who's gone back into the Jackets dressing room. There's Mike Vogt. Boy, he's got to be the busiest man.
Yeah, he's been a busy guy
in the dressing room.
And there's a protocol to follow with the NHL and any contact to the head. So I'm sure Anisimov will go through that, then they'll evaluate from there. 4-on-3 is what it is.
Jackets. Wisniewski off the stick there of Leonard. Swept up. Wisniewski on for Jack Johnson. Wisniewski lets one fly, and that's deflected in front. Atkinson got a stick on it, but he sent it over top of the net and off the netting and out of play.
2 quick shots from Wisniewski on this 4-on-3, and he's got a heck of a shot. You see Legwand go down to block that. Face off to the left of Leonard, but I like the attitude. Get the puck to the middle, get it to the net, try to outnumber them for the rebound.
Face off to the left of Robin Leonard. 3 seconds remain in the penalty. And the Senators had to put somebody in the penalty box for Gryba, so Neal will serve that 5-minute major.
And now Wenberg is in there.
Yeah, why was Wenberg even going in there? I mean, I didn't understand that one. There was no misconducts or anything of that nature. No minor penalties.
Just buying time, maybe? I don't know.
No, I think probably what happened is that they needed to get a Senators player in to serve that 5-minute Gryba major, so the linesman might have skated by the bench, and maybe the Jackets thought somebody as the leather has flashed and letter holds on, that somebody had to go in for them.
Another quick shot by the Jackets. And it's right off the face-off. And it's Wisniewski again. He's had 3 shots in the last 12 seconds here on the clock, and it's just good for him. Just got to get someone in front of Leonard. And Todd Richards said that in the interview at the end of at the beginning of the period. And so did Coach Hartsburg at the end of the first. He said, we got to have traffic in front of this guy. It's one thing to be in front, but you got to take away his vision.
Long shot there. And again, flashing to Leonard. And Robin Leonard.
And Leonard, I'll tell you what, I spoke with Lou Richardson, like I said this morning. He said he's a big goalie, but he's not typical. He's athletic and dynamic, and he can steal games. And the Jackets know that. He's he won the Calder Cup, the American Hockey League Championship with the Binghamton Senators, and a huge part of that run.
A minute 26 left in the minor penalty assessed to Scott Hartnell. And then he will be sprung from the penalty box, and the Jackets will begin a 3-minute power play that they can score at will.
That's right. With a 5-minute major, you can score as many as you want. So Jackets start with 1 on that would be good.
Exactly. Get that tying goal. Up high, Ceci off the pad of McElhinney. Ryan Murray defending. Fights off the check. Good work there by the youngster. Slides it out of the zone. Picked up by Phillips. Tossing it back. Senators will play the balance of the night with 5 defensemen. Gryba given the 5-minute major for targeting the head and a game misconduct. Carlson hands it off. Cowan. Bobby Ryan up high, unable to cradle that puck. It gets away from Zibanejad. And the Senators have got to regroup in their own zone as we approach the midway point of period number 2 and the hockey game. Zibanejad down that right side. Gets by Tootin as he sends it off the wall. And McElhinney makes a stop. Cowan, great lateral move there by McElhinney. His finest stop of the night.
Curtis McElhinney got a little out of position on that initial play. But the puck was played off him deep in the zone and right out to the defenseman who took the shot on net. He got across. What a save. Top right shoulder.
Ryan Johansson on the wing. Savard ripped wide of the net. 1 second left. Outsteps Hartnell. The Jackets are on the power play. And Hartnell will remain on the ice. Savard sends it wide. Johansson battles below the goal line. Loose puck picked up by the Senators. Failed to clear. Tootin Savard, top of the circle from the spot he scored on. Here in front. How did Leonard stop that one? Hartnell was right there, and Leonard got the pad on it, even though he was below the goal line and camped in the net.
Looked like Leonard was actually facing the back of the net, but had that pad across the bottom on the goal line.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, he's tall. He knows how to use it.
Johansson slides across ice. Mark O'Dano drills it back, but hands it to Chiasson. Up high, Jack Johnson gets it to Johansson. Johansson slides a backhand pass, bounces. Tried to set up Letestu. Might have been better advised to shoot the puck himself.
Oh, see, right idea. They had a nice little turnover at the line, but yeah, they might have just gotten too cute there.
Dumped in by Jack Johnson. Hustling Wisniewski off the point. Dano's in front, and again the Jackets send it to the point, and it's off the mark, forcing Columbus back into neutral territory. Here's Wenberg with some power play time, looking for his first National Hockey League goal. He's picked up his second assist. And the fans start chanting CBJ.
You remember back to the Ottawa game in Ottawa, Wenberg thought he had his first goal, but Leonard put that paddle down and just completely robbed him.
Absolutely. That was a save of the night. He made several outstanding stops. Puck on the wing. This is Wenberg. Coming quickly. Wenberg across the line. Drilled by Lazar. Stepping up. Unable to keep it in as Wisniewski. A little more than a minute left now. And the 5-minute major being served by Neal. Coming with speed is Hartnell across the line. And again, the Senators are able to slap it right back down.
Yeah, they're jamming up the Blue Jackets as they enter the zone and taking away their setup option. The first guy is supposed to draw attention and then bump it back or forward to the guy that's open. But Ottawa's reading that right now.
Oh, nice pass there. Chappelle, Ryan Murray in front. And it slid wide. Again, Murray trying to toss it back into that slot. Borowiecki on that far side is able to slap it down. 30 seconds left in the 5-minute major.
Borowiecki there, we've seen him lay some big hits tonight, but he's doing a good job too of protecting pucks and keeping the play very simple.
Offside.
And probably the best chance of this power play was right in front of the net. Scott Hartnell, Leonard's down. You can see he's sliding around and he's completely out of position, except for his left pad is in perfect position. And I think Scott Hartnell will remember that one for the rest of the evening.
Jared Bull drops it back. Savard for Bull. 12 seconds left in the power play. Cracknell. Up high, Murray. Redirected wide. Phillips reaching for it. Got a stick on it. Bull. Neal stands at the penalty bench and out. Senators back at full strength. Jackets jam the front of the net. Bull knocking down. Leg wide. Adam Cracknell protects that puck. Thrown back to the point. Trop wants it back. Leonard reaching for it, but it sailed wide. Trop along the wall. Stone ahead here for Ceci. And Ceci will bounce one wide of McElhinney. Ryan Murray for David Savard. Savard right wing. Bull is hit by Legwand. Bull with the backhand to center. Cowan will dump it right back into the Columbus end of the ice. Jackets change up as play continues. Savard waits. Shows some patience as the Jackets get fresh legs on, and a lead pass there for Hartnell. Scott Hartnell. Carlson defended. Hartnell looking to walk out of the corner. Hands it here to Atkinson. Lurking in the neutral zone. Trout wants that puck. Johansson had the stick knocked out of his hand. This is Prout. Trying to dance away from MacArthur. Gets caught up with the linesman along the wall, and Jack Johnson will play it. 5 minutes, 40 seconds left. Stop at the Ottawa line. Jackets reach for it. Carlson, little spinorama. Hartnell, here to Johansson. And Johansson knocked down. Slow to get up. Crowd looking for a penalty to be called. Zibanejad, little give and go. And he sent it off that goalpost. Jackets come back late in the shift. Johansson hustles into the zone. Drops a pass. Here's Hartnell. Hartnell in front. Stopped by Leonard.
I like that little shot by Hartnell. It wasn't the hardest shot, but he knew he had Johansson going to the net with Atkinson.
He is out of gas.
But he just wanted to throw it in there for a rebound, but Leonard did a good job controlling it.
Less than 5 minutes left here in the second. Dalton Prout dumps in. Puck played along the wall there by Ceci. Waiting Chiasson with Lazar. Quick feed. Condra fires a shot high and wide. Looking glove side. The puck ricochets out to center. Skilly tried to tip it away. The active stick there of Carlson. We talk about his offensive play, but Jody Carlson's got some defensive skill as well.
He does, and one thing about him, he's dangerous up in the offensive zone, and he can take those chances, and one reason is why of that is because he's got such good speed, he can get back and cover up for himself. So that just gives him a little more confidence. But yeah, you see that stick he's got.
In front, Trop trying to feed Chaput. Good work by Trop. Able to steal it away. Carlson, again Trop. At the side of the net, Chaput. Into that right circle. Here's Savard, lets one fly. The shot is blocked. Stone gets it ahead. Puck moved by Condra. Gloved, and it will be held by McElhaney. 3:52 left. Watch here as Johansson gets triple teamed, hog-tied. It's a little bit of a rodeo play.
2-1 here at Nationwide. Brad Larson, lots of pressure, but no goals. What's the missing element right now?
Well, finish. This goalie's playing well. He didn't like our first 5 minutes, but since then it's been better. You know, you like to generate the power play, but, you know, we're creating chances, and that's what we need to do.
You like the battle level you're seeing right now?
Yeah, much better. Much better. I think guys are competing hard again. It's going to be these tight games. We got to find ways to win.
Well, there you go. I like the comments by both coaches on these interviews tonight. All three, actually. We got Todd for the first time beginning this second period. And
it's a nice little treat. Over the course of the year here on Fox Sports Ohio, Todd will join us starting that second period.
I don't know if we keep him late again. We might lose him.
Let's blame the producer.
Okay, let's do that.
Had nothing to do with us. You could have asked another. You had enough time to ask another question. 3:30 left. Second period. When in doubt, blame somebody else.
Good teammate, Jeff.
Well, we did our team building in San Francisco.
Right.
There's a shot from a sharp angle. And the save by Leonard.
There's Ryan Murray knocking that puck out of the air and the dump in. That's a skill.
Adam Cracknell getting it there. But Hartnell's shot was blocked. 3 minutes left here. In the second period, 1 goal in the second, that by Smith at even strength at 1:44. Oh boy, leaning the other way, but the puck sailed wide of the net. McElhaney able to cover up there. 2:46 left. 2-1. Senators lead on that Smith goal we just mentioned. There's Anton Forsberg, who was recalled to back up McElhaney tonight, and Zibanejad, his former Team Sweden and the World Junior teammate. They won the gold medal in 2012. Forsberg, the backup netminder. Zibanejad scored the game-winning goal. And a little more on Anton. I talked to him this morning, Jody. He made 2 trips in the air since Sunday. One to get back to Springfield. Didn't get a chance to practice then. Didn't arrive till Sunday night. And then yesterday, no practice. So this morning was the first time he's been on the ice in 3 days. And he said, well, I did get back in time for the yoga class. What? Yeah.
Well, good for him.
Evidently, the yoga classes here at the NHL level, being spearheaded by Boone Jenner, aren't the only yoga classes in the organization.
Well, that's good.
But he did get a chance to practice this morning, and happy to rejoin the Blue Jackets here at the NHL level. Anton Forsberg, 1-2 at Springfield in the early season.
Yeah, he went direct from LA to Boston on Sunday. And then on the way back, he got the call last night at 4. And he went from Hartford to Baltimore to Columbus. And here he is.
There is MacArthur. MacArthur. Carlson moving into the slot. Turris, he was tied up. Good work there by Johansson. Takes a hit now from MacArthur. And Carlson continues on the onslaught offensively. McElhinney will slow it down.
Before the Jackets hit the ice, get ready to join the battle on Blue Jackets Live on Fox Sports Ohio. Blue Jackets Live is brought to you by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
And here's Erik Karlsson. You see that captain, that C on his jersey. He bought 1,000 C's. He's the new captain. 1,000 C's, invited fans with his jersey to come to Scotiabank Place to get them pressed on. Nice move by the young leader.
Classy.
Yeah, good word, classy.
Phillips. Condra. Tied up. Jackets played along the boards. And get it out of the zone there. Backhanded by Dano. Nice feed for Skilly. Skilly fires a shot. Letter juggles. We joined us late. Jackets without Artem Anisimov after taking the hit to the head from Greiba. And he is back in the Jackets dressing room. We've had no update on him. So the Jackets short their centerman.
Yeah, hopefully they're just doing the cautionary protocol as we look at the shot from Jack Skilly. Leonard has done a great job, but tell you what, there has not been many rebounds in front of him. He really scoops it up and holds on to it.
David Savard sends to the Ottawa line. Ceci. Phillips back for Ceci. The fact that Greiba is out for the rest of the night. Senators down to 5 defensemen. David Savard. Chaput racing down that left side. Adam Cracknell chips ahead and deep in the zone. First on the forecheck. Nice move there by Chaput. Walks out of the corner. Gets it to Savard. And there's Leonard again talking, as you said, hanging on to that rebound. Not giving the Jackets a second chance.
No, he just kind of puts it right in the breadbasket there. And he's happy. He's content to take the whistle. Not a lot of traffic in front of him, as we've been mentioning all game. And you know, it's easy to say get in front of him, but you have to give credit to his defensemen who are doing a great job of keeping the Blue Jackets players away from the front of the net so that Leonard can just do his job. See the puck, make sure the rebound goes nowhere, start the faceoff.
Interesting to point out that the Senators in the second period have been outshot 102 to 52. That's a 50 differential, but the Jackets get the goal to tie it up, winning a draw, and Cam Atkinson finds the back of the net behind Leonard.
Well, that's a bang, bang, bang play. Cam Atkinson, who gets back in the lineup after his facial laceration. Quick, Wisniewski gets it, taps it over to him, set play, and that one fools Leonard. You see Wisniewski. He's on his forehand, he just kind of feeds Atkinson, and that's got to feel good for him. He's got back in this lineup with a lot of pep in his step.
The 28th shot registered by the Jackets. 14 in the first, 14 here in the second. The importance of winning a faceoff, an illustration there.
And I like what you were saying about the Senators and their second periods, because the coach stressed that today. It hasn't been their best period, and here late in the period for Columbus to score on them, he's going to be a grouchy guy in between intermissions.
Final minute. Atkinson tying it up here. That has brought the crowd to life. They come again. There's a shot off a leg, a second attempt, and Atkinson sent it over top of the cage.
Finally a rebound in front, and yeah, that did not miss by much.
Meantime, heading up ice, Bobby Ryan. Ryan for the Senators, spinorama and a stick save. MacArthur circles the net. MacArthur walking out, final seconds. Backhanded. Into the corner for Bobby Ryan. Flips for Turris. Turris knocks it down, almost gloving it. Turris, as the horn goes to end the second period. The Jackets bring the crowd to life here at a standing ovation after 40 minutes of play. We will step aside. tied at 2. Jackets out shooting the visiting Senators 29-18. We'll be back. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Roush Honda. For the best way to say Honda is Roush Honda. And by Ticketmaster. Score. Get the only NHL tickets sold by fans and verified by Ticketmaster. It's all hockey, no hassle right now at NHL.com/ticket exchange. Back here at Nationwide Arena, tied at 2, set for third period play, but not before we get to tonight's AT&T Rewind. For that, we head to Pittsburgh, where the Penguins are hosting the New Jersey Devils. And we pick up the action, tied at 3 in the second.
And that's Craig Adams. Makes it 4-3 Pittsburgh. Currently it is 5-3 Pittsburgh. We were going to check out your Toronto Maple Leafs, Jeff, but there's no score. And they are our next opponent.
Yes, they are. But in a scoreless tie, we had to, we had to adjust, call an audible, and we went to Pittsburgh instead.
Well done.
The AEP Power Play Summary.
And look at the number of shots for the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are leading in this game 29-18 in shots. 11 of those on the power play. Wisniewski with 4, Hartnell with 5, and Savard with 4. Good portion of those 29.
Good quarterback can always call an audible.
Yeah, you did that well. Smooth.
And Toronto is the town that I was born in. Leafs currently struggling here right now, looking for an identity. They will be here Friday night. Nice move by Johansson to walk around the defenseman. Or actually, that was Bobby Ryan, not the defenseman. And as a result, Senators are able to come up with a puck. Incidentally, Johansson picked up the second assist on that Atkinson goal. He's now set a franchise record with points in 9 straight to start his season. One off the team record of 10 held by Umberger and Rick Nash.
That's right. He won the face-off on that. But look at the Ohio Health. Great save, and it's Leonard on Hartnell. And what a save it is. Look at Leonard in the net. He's down. He's facing backwards. He's spinning around, but that left leg is in perfect position to make that save on Hartnell.
Now, do you call that luck, or do you call that skill? Or maybe a little bit of both?
It has to be a bit of both. I mean, he knew where he was. He laid that leg down, and I'd say luck and skill. But you got to be good to be lucky.
You're absolutely right. Marco Dano tried to chop it out of the zone. Reaching for it there is Skilly. A minute plus gone here in the third. Jackets, as we mentioned, right back here Friday night. 8 straight games against the Eastern Conference after finishing the 4-game road trip, and 3 in California. 5 of those 8 will be played against Metropolitan Division rivals. Oh boy. Ryan Murray fanned on that first attempt to clear. Recovered ahead of the oncoming Senator. Puck bounces wide of the net. That's Carlson. Tosses to the far side. Stepping up and off the bench. Corey Trop drops it behind the net. Wenberg unable to play that puck. From center. Chopped wide of McElhaney, who reached for it. McCulloch tied up. Thrown to the wall. Trop is there. Zibanejad flipped a backhand from the point, shot by Phillips, and to give Adam Cracknell some credit there, he dropped in front of it and was able to redirect it wide of the net.
That's not easy to do, get down and block a shot, but we've seen him do that a few times.
Phillips moves in, glove save, and will hold on. Does McElhaney.
Good job by McElhaney, right out at the top of his crease to challenge that shot by Phillips. You see him move side to side. Glove save, and he gets on the rebound. And he's been solid here tonight. He steps in a tough situation after being out with injury, travel. And he's looked good.
Yes, he has. When you think in terms coming off IR and really only getting a couple of times to put the pads on.
And those a nice save there off the direction.
Off his skate. Jackets move it out. Savard, Dano, Bull, and Chaput, who's moved back to the natural pivot spot in the absence of Artem Anisimov, who took the high hit to the head from Greiba. And the word came down late in the second period that he would not return for the balance of the night. Savard with a good hit on Lazar there. So the Jackets playing without one of their centermen, and that enables the speedy Chaput to move back into the middle. And he makes the best of it. Look at Chaput. Another attempt. And Leonard on the wraparound. As after the initial stop, Chaput went right after that loose puck. Good hustle. And gets that other chance. A second effort.
And Jeff, you're exactly right. Michael Chaput, he started the game on wing. They had to move him to center, and that just shows the confidence that he's earned from his coach, Todd Richards. And he's earned it through hustle, positional play, and reliability. He's playing the system the right way. And you mentioned earlier, he spent the summer in Columbus, most of it, working and trying to be better to fit in where he can, and he's really found a role here with the Blue Jackets.
Right wing, Bobby Ryan kick save, the left pad. That time, turning it aside. Hartnell, who has 5 shots for the Jackets, tried to make the play in neutral ice, heading up with both Atkinson and Johansson. Ryan Murray turning away. Hands to Wisniewski. Tip to Atkinson, racing down the right side. Joining that rush, Ryan Murray, Johansson, left side, Hartnell, and Ryan Murray went flying over goaltender Robin Leonard. Meantime, an odd man rush, Carlson in front and scores. 3-2. An odd man rush after the Jackets 4 sprinted into Ottawa territory, and the Senators skate down. Ryan Murray caught up ice after a collision, and it's now 3-2 Ottawa.
And this is the back check, and this is the danger of Erik Karlsson. You see him leading it right up the middle. Turris gets the puck, just gives it right back to Karlsson in the middle of the ice. And he slides it right along the ice, beats McElhinney. And that's the danger of a 4-man rush. All the Jackets were up on the ice. Johansson made a nice play over to Hartnell, and he had Ryan Murray drive through the middle to the goalie, opening up that lane so Hartnell could get the puck. But Leonard with that outstanding save, and then from that moment, Karlsson jumps up with the play. And just that quick, the Jackets are down 1, 3-2.
Well, Leonard, in our opinion, Jody was the star of the game in Ottawa, and he stood tall here again. He has stopped 32 of 34 shots the Jackets have fired at the Ottawa net. They come again, and Phillips blocks the Wenberg attempt. 1 assist, that to Turris. 3-2. Jackets again trail. Early minutes of period number 3. Plenty of time. Smith tried to chop it. There's Legwand up high in front of the Ottawa bench. Gets it back to Smith. Senators move up ice. Neal is with him. Chris Neal. The puck sent wide. And the right wing boards in front. Down McElhinney uses the stick to sweep it up into the paint and then gets the glove on it.
Good job by Curtis to reel that in with some pressure in front from Chris Neal. Now let's look at that summary, Jeff. PNC summary, game summary. And we talked about it earlier, shots on goal. Blue Jackets are dominating in that. But Ottawa has the lead 3-2 here. Hits are pretty much even. On face-offs, the Jackets were ahead in that by quite a bit, but Ottawa is slowly creeping back into that race.
Chiasson fires. Shot block, does not get through. And then trickles right back into the blue paint where McElhinney will wisely hang on.
There's a look at Corey Trop. You know what? He sat out of the couple games in California, came back in LA, and he came out back like a house on fire. Took a run at Justin Williams and then fought Matt Green. Green was in the box for 17 minutes. It's a big horse, and he's provided energy, and I thought he's looked great out here tonight. Energy, good with the puck. He's meshed well with the line mates he's been paired with, and he's been shifted around quite a bit, Jeff. So another guy with an opportunity in Corey Trop. And there's another guy, Cracknell, who waited patiently. We spoke about that. And you mentioned earlier him blocking shots. These guys are getting an opportunity here right now to show what they got. And it's been pretty impressive, hasn't it?
Everything you just said, I agree 110%.
Oh, what a teammate.
And Cracknell, in particular, really showed us a lot in Los Angeles. And there weren't too many... despite the game, there really weren't too many, what I thought, mistakes by the hockey club. And obviously, as Todd Richards said this morning after the Foligno injury, it really took the sail took the wind out of the sails, and well, the Jackets regrouping here tonight, and have run into red-hot Robin Lehner again.
And there they are, Cracknell and Chaput. You saw them talking earlier on the bench. Lots of communication with these guys. You know, they're both in similar situations where they're, you know, getting in the lineup and embracing every opportunity, and they've just made the most of it.
Ooh, good hit there. Walking in front, trying to feed. Ryan Johansson was Hartnell. It was broken up. Jackets showing unselfishness here tonight and trying to make the perfect pass there to set the Jackets up. They might be better off firing the puck like you see Ottawa do and look for those rebounds.
And that's what they were doing earlier, and that's a good point, Jeff. And I'm sure Todd Richards has been saying that along with his coaching staff, is get it at the net, find the rebound. You're not going to have a really good opportunity on the initial shot anyways.
Oh, Corey Trapp with a hard hit on the Senators player, and Lazar goes after Trapp.
That's Borowiecki looks like to be the player that Corey Trapp took a run at. Borowiecki is down there getting attended to, and there's Dano's in there on the puck, and you see Trapp come into the screen. Boy, does Borowiecki go down awkwardly here.
Now, they've sent Trapp to the dressing room. Borowiecki being attended to there. Checking from behind and game misconduct handed to Trapp.
Let's take a look at it one more time. And the way Borowiecki went into the boards, he's kind of turning, but you know, I think that the ref sees how he goes in. It kind of folds up there. And I thought the players have done a good job, really, managing themselves with these close plays into the boards, holding up.
5-minute power play for the Senators. And a big kill needed here.
And Jeff, I think the way he went into the boards had a great deal to do with that call.
No question. I don't think it was the action. I think it was the result.
Right. And Corey Trapp is not that type of player. He's an honest player.
100%.
Likes to make noise out there, but hopefully Borowiecki's okay.
That was a typical Trapp clean check. So the end result, costing Trapp a 5-minute major game misconduct. Bobby Ryan in front. Oh, good work there by Jack Johnson to tie up the Senator Zibanejad, who went to the net.
That would have been a wide open net. Great play by Jack Johnson to use his strength on the back door, lift the stick.
Carlson, McCulloch trying to split the defense. Jack Johnson is there, keeps it away from Chiasson. Senators move it up. Carlson, far side. McCulloch, back for Carlson. Bobby Ryan working here along the near wall. Saucers a pass. Carlson settles it down. Here's Ryan, wrist shot, stick to side by McElhaney. Flipped on a backhand. Good work there. The initial hesitation, showing patience before Chaput sends it the length of the ice.
Chaput was going to take a little more time, but kind of lost sight of the puck and then figured, okay, let me get this out of the middle of the ice in front of our goalie.
Here comes MacArthur. MacArthur with a power play goal in the opening period. The Jackets again able to sweep it down. Leonard will get it ahead here for Turris.
That was Mark Letestu reading the play. Good heads-up play to read that and get it down the ice.
David Savard tying up MacArthur. Rimmed around the boards by Tooten. Carlson unable to keep it in with that left skate.
Tooten got it up on the glass, and that's not always easy to pick up for the defenseman. Took a little extra hop. Hit Carlson off the ice. Good move.
Bounced off the right skate. He tried to play it on the left. Now Turris on to MacArthur. MacArthur drops it back for Turris. This is Ceci. Turris Settles it down. Ceci picking up an assist on an earlier goal. David Legwand on that half wall. A little more than 3 minutes left. Savard drops in front of McElhaney, able to block it. Ceci, right point. Jackets get it, and it's angled off the wall by Wenberg and deep into Ottawa territory.
Well, you picked up on that, Jeff. Savard laid out there to take away the low passing lane, and it worked out very well. Broke up the play nicely.
Up the right wing boards and across the line, coming here with speed. Chiasson walks in, saved by McElhaney. Rebound up, but not out. Zibanejad up high. He's pressured. Zibanejad slides it off into the corner. Jackets defend. There's Ryan Murray all over Bobby Ryan. Drops Ryan to the ice. Jackets, Skilly finds the lane between the two defenders and sends it back into Ottawa territory. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the 5-minute major to Corey Trout. Coming. Cross the lines of Zibanejad. Drop back to the point to Karlsson. Has he left the ice on this power play?
He was off briefly.
Legwand to the goal line. Karlsson. Zibanejad. Two Senators lurking in front of the net. Here's Legwand. Cross ice. Karlsson rips it high. Takes a wicked bounce off the stanchion and then off the skate of McCulloch. The Jackets had the clearing pass on their stick. Unable to do so. 11:15 left in the period. Less than 2 minutes of the power play. Legwand dishes. Ceci throws it back to Zibanejad. On to Karlsson. Zibanejad lets one fly. Oh, off the back of Wisniewski. Breaking the stick and attempting to clear the zone and doing it with a great second effort. Adam Cracknell, who hears from the crowd.
Well, they appreciate a second and third effort, and they just got one there from Cracknell. No stick, stayed with it, got his glove on it, waited for time, bought some time for some assistance from its player. Boy, that was a nice play.
And, of course, in the defensive zone, you're allowed to glove it out. Here, meantime, off the glove of McElhaney. Off on the far side. Turris sends it up to Karlsson. A little more than a minute left in the 5-minute major. Here's Turris. Karlsson, right-handed shot on the left side. Thrown into the net there. Jack Johnson all over the Senators forward MacArthur. Here's Karlsson again on that left point now. On for Turris. 10:22 left. Less than a minute in the 5-minute major. Karlsson. Cross ice, MacArthur. Turris lets it fly off the backboard. Johnson defends. Up high, Senators able to keep it in. Wenberg, Atkinson up front. Here is Turris. On to MacArthur. Quick shot. That misses the mark. 10 minutes left. 30 seconds left on the power play. Karlsson thrown in front. Right circle in front. Scores. Chiasson.
The Senators stayed with it, and the Jackets did too. Hard-working penalty kill by those guys out there. But what a play by Chiasson. He finishes that off, but Clark MacArthur with the fake shot to your left. And you can see McElhaney was just late going over there because a great play by Clark MacArthur. He sold the shot, and they gave it to the middle to Chiasson. Jackets still shorthanded for another 26 seconds because that was a major penalty.
9:54 left here in the third period. David Savard. On to Feder Tooten for Savard. Lazar pressures, and the Jackets flip it up and out wide. Robin Leonard. Final 8 seconds. Chiasson from MacArthur and Stone. James Wisniewski, who blocked a shot with his back earlier on the penalty kill, has left the Jackets bench and is back in the dressing room. He took a wicked slap shot off the back.
That's the second guy to go down the hall tonight. The first was Anisimov forward. The Jackets are short up front and on the back end.
9:07 left. It was a wild night for the Rangers coming back from behind in the third. Still plenty of time.
Nationwide, where the Jackets trail Ottawa 4-2. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, watch Bill and Brian break down this week for the Blue Jackets and a Slapshots Web Extra. Could another quarterback injury impact the Buckeyes on Saturday? And Sam Amico's bold prediction for this NBA season. Complete coverage of all of today's action involving Ohio sports brought to you by 1-800-SAFEAUTO.com.
There's Scotty Hartnell. He's had a lot of shots tonight, some good opportunities. He's paired up with Johansson and Atkinson here on the top line, and they've all had some good opportunities, but with 9:07 left in this game, they're going to be pressing here.
Johansson was there, Leonard was down, but could not get the puck. Turris trying to walk in. Jack Johnson gets a piece of him, and walking in and firing his second of the night is MacArthur. 5-2.
And that looked to be a bouncing puck. Really, it looked like a harmless play that the Jackets had control of. Clark MacArthur pressured the bouncing puck. There he makes the pass to Turris, who tries to go up the middle. And all in one motion, he doesn't just take it from Ryan Murray. You see this heads-up play by MacArthur, who cuts to the middle and off of Murray's stick and past McElhaney. That gives Ottawa the 3-goal lead. Tough bounce for the Blue Jackets on that one.
Jackets with 36 shots, but they trail by 3. Senators with 29, but lead at 5-2. Fedor-Tutin on to Marco Dano, looking for Letestu, cruising through the neutral zone. 1 assist, Turris.
Good steal by Dano there.
Here's Skilly. Drops it for Dano. Dano in front. Nice pass, a shot. And it's sent wide of the net. Leonard had committed. And Leonard is down after a collision. Leonard had committed and was out of the net, but the puck set on a backhand. And on that far side.
Is that Jared Bull?
No, that's Fedor-Tutin.
Leonard's getting attended to there. It's a nice play. Dano starts to play, and Tutin has it on his backhand. Looks to have beaten Leonard. Now he gets a piece of it with the back of his skate. And then, boy, that's big contact.
Look at the puck go off the crossbar there. Bouncing as Skilly went to scoop up the loose puck.
Leonard's in the corner testing it out. The trainer's telling him to roll his shoulder.
Paul McLean lobbying here with the official for a goaltender interference penalty or a penalty of some kind. Not going to bite that at all is Justin St. Pierre.
Let's look at this from up top, and Leonard, it just gets the bottom of the skate on that puck, and you see Tutin roll into him.
It was the aftermath, though. That puck was bouncing, and you saw it in the previous replay go right off the crossbar. 8 minutes and 4 seconds left. Third period. Cracknell trying to win a board battle there. Ceci holds his own. Moved by Phillips up, but not out. Oh, they're saying it was out. A little late there on the call. Nonetheless, Don Henderson whistles play down. Jackets can't believe it. 7:55 left.
5-2, Ottawa leads the Blue Jackets here at Nationwide. Now, after every Blue Jackets game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks down the game and talks to the players and coaches on Blue Jackets Live, presented by IGS Energy. IGS Energy, take control of your natural gas costs. Enroll at IGSenergy.com.
And there's a look at Jack Johnson. Boy, he's been out there a lot tonight. And now with 5D on the bench, you'll see him a lot more. He's out there with David Savard right now, looking to get some offense going here for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Jackets playing without a couple of defensemen. Or a couple of players, excuse me. One defenseman, and James Wisniewski, who left early. And, of course, as we mentioned, Corey Trott, given a game misconduct earlier on this period for his hit on Borowiecki. Of course, Borowiecki has not returned since, nor has the Ottawa player that was involved early on in this hockey game. And there is McElhaney to hold on. Big Lots, big play.
Well, this makes it 2-2 for the Jackets, and it's Cam Atkinson. It's a quick pass by Wisniewski. It's only a 4-foot pass. You can see it here. Johansson wins the draw. Atkinson has set up a right-handed shot in the top of the circle, and Wisniewski puts it right in his wheelhouse. Cam Atkinson puts it in the back of the net.
The third pair employed by Coach Paul McLean, both right now, for all intents and purposes, out of the game. Borowiecki and Gryba, one due to injury, The other one a game misconduct. 7 minutes left. 5-2. This is Jared Bull. Bull from the right wing throws it in front. Leonard the stay. The Jackets cannot get to the rebound. And give the Senators credit here tonight because they are sweeping. If there is a rebound, give it up. They are sweeping it away from in front of Leonard.
And you know what else they're doing? They're immediately jumping offense on any rebound off Leonard. And it's Carlson driven. We saw a goal because of it. The rebound is there, and they are thinking offense, and it's 4 or 5 guys up the ice.
All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, telecommunication of the public, or other unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Columbus Blue Jackets is expressly prohibited.
And if you have a good goalie and you know the save is going to come, guess what? As soon as that shot's taken, we're gone. And you've seen the Jackets get caught a couple times in that transition.
Well, it's interesting talking to some of the Senators people after the first period. They're saying, hey, we're a club that's known for speed. And we can't believe the speed the Jackets displayed in that first period. But they could only come out with a 1-1 tie after 20 minutes. 2 power play goals, the difference in this one by the Senators.
Well, the Jackets knew what they were going up against in the Ottawa Senators as a team. They played them just a week or 10 days ago. They're low scoring, hard working, and they rely on their goaltender, some would say, too much. Well, we've seen it tonight in Leonard. Tonight they got 5 goals, but boy, Leonard kept this game close early, didn't he?
He sure did. Jackets outplaying the Senators. They had a 14-5 first period shot advantage. They peppered 15 shots in the second period at the Ottawa net. 5:58 left.
We were talking about Leonard. His dad, Michael, is a goalie coach. And I guess a mentor to Henrik Lundqvist. He's from Sweden.
Did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
For one of the premier goaltenders in the National Hockey League. And how about last night, I mentioned briefly, the New York Rangers coming from behind with 5 third-period goals to beat Minnesota. The word is that after the second period, it was the goaltender, Lundqvist, the former teammate of yours with the Rangers, that stood up in the dressing room and really laid it out on the line to his teammates. Fired them up, according to the Rangers. And the end result was that 5-goal onslaught for a victory in come-from-behind fashion. They trailed 3-0.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? I was talking to Brandon Dubinsky about leadership and Bobrovsky and Lundqvist, and he said when those guys speak, it means a lot, and you listen. So it was one of those moments for Henrik Lundqvist.
5:12 left. Up until that point, we're told that Coach Alain Vigneault was not happy and pretty well let his feelings be known. The crowd, in fact, at Madison Square Garden booed the Rangers off the ice.
The Jackets here have got to get down to get some shots on Leonard. We've seen a couple good plays. And I like the pass Jared Bull made off of him. Create those rebounds.
4 minutes, 37 seconds left. Oh, Carlson hit there by Chaput, forcing a turnover. Bull chops it towards the net, and down is Leonard to hold on. 4.5 minutes left. Third period. And the Senators take exception to Bull, who's just doing his job. And now, just like we had promised earlier in tonight's contest, it's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. And here's our Miller moment.
Well, we spoke of Carlson on the way into this game, and there's good reason. You got to keep an eye on him. And this is out of transition. He leads the team up ice, and then gets the puck back from Turris right in the middle of the ice, between the hash marks, and makes no mistake beating McElhinney. And that's the 3-2 goal right now.
That goal scored at 3:41 of this third period. Turris draws the lone assist. In fact, he's got a pair of assists here in the third period. David Savard, who opened the scoring at the 5-minute mark. The opening period on a power play. Senators tied it up a minute later. That was it after 1. The score was 2-2 after 2. The Senators have scored 3 unanswered goals here in the third. Ottawa scored on a power play. Late in that power play. A 5-minute major handed to Corey Kropp. Jack Johnson holds up Smith. Hartnell on here for Dalton Prout. Prout steps in front of his own net. Protects that puck. Head
Great job.
Looks to the left wing. Absolutely.
Love that poise with the puck. Head up.
You recall he was a healthy scratch a few games back, and Todd Richards, mincing no words, said he's got to be better. Gets back in the lineup and steps up his game.
And that's not easy, because sometimes when you're out, you come back, you try to do too much, you think too much. And that play there showed great poise.
Chaput for Prout. Redirected by Jared Bull at the offensive blue line. Adam Cracknell finishing a check. Long stretch pass for Chiasson. Dump behind the net. There's Prout. Tried to backhand it. Tooten will protect it away from McCulloch. Carlson steps up, fires a shot. There's McElhaney. No, hold on. 2:44. Jackets will get a day off tomorrow. Return to practice Thursday. And then our next telecast, Friday night. Original 6, Toronto Maple Leafs will be in town. First of a back-to-back Jackets home game and a road start in New Jersey on Saturday. We join you with the Blue Jackets live pregame at 6:30. Opening faceoff will be at 7 o'clock. Right wing, return feed off into the corner. 2:24 left. Incidentally, the Leafs leading Buffalo at home 3-0 in the third period. Media in Toronto really getting down on the Leafs right now, Jody. Does that surprise you?
Good reason. No, that doesn't surprise me at all. You know, one of the guys the Leafs used to have, MacArthur, is having quietly a great night here tonight. 3 points. He's been all over the ice surface. Just a solid player.
Leader,
but
physical guy.
Quietly gets it done.
Great pickup by General Manager Brian Murray. And after MacArthur started playing a couple of seasons ago for Ottawa, why a lot of complaints in Toronto, the team we see here Friday, for letting MacArthur get away.
And he finds himself, he's a complimentary player. Because he's got some size, he's got some speed, but he's smart. So he's playing out there with Turris and Bobby Ryan. And I'm sure they're thrilled to have him there. You like to have that reliable guy that just, you know, it's not about him, MacArthur, it's about his team, and those guys you can't have enough of. So yeah, I agree with you. Great pickup. And tonight, 3 points against the Blue Jackets.
We certainly wish the general manager of the Ottawa Senators was not accompanying the team the best in his battle against cancer. One of the truly long-time great hockey people, general manager in Detroit, coach in Detroit, of course started his coaching career, an NHL career in Washington with the Capitals, GM, for a short time coach in Florida. Built the Anaheim Ducks into a Stanley Cup champion, and the guy that was the GM there, Ryan Burke, could be the first guy to tell you that. But not around to celebrate the fruits of his labor. Less than a minute to go, but we wish him well in this battle. Icing the call here, and they'll head back into Columbus territory.
Jack Johnson just tried to connect with Cracknell there, who's at the end of a shift. They can't change. Bowler there, Jared Bull.
How about the night he's put in?
Yeah, 2 fights early. Boy, this team came out with some great emotion. And Jared Bull saw Chris Neil take a run at Ryan Johansson. And I love the reaction. When he got out there against Neil, he said, hey, we got to do this.
MacArthur, cross ice. Left there for Bobby Ryan. Ryan signing that long-term contract, ensuring that he will be a Ottawa Senator for the next 8 years. left wing. Out to center. James Wisniewski did not return after taking that shot off the back during the power play. A slap shot catching him right in the back. And of course, Artem Anisimov, after the hit targeting the head by Gryba, also not returning.
And then Corey Trop got ejected.
Jackets injury list
from behind.
growing here tonight. The Ottawa Senators, with 3 unanswered third period goals, defeat the Blue Jackets 5-2.